I finished the book. The more I film, the more I'm like, I need to fix this and probably move it. It's still in my bathing suits, but like, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I finished the book. It was audiobook format, but I finished nonetheless, okay? And I actually took notes because it was a really good book. Today we're gonna be talking about Bounce Back by Staff Sergeant Travis Mills. Now, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. That's because I think everybody should read this book. My 5 stars are like, I would reread this book multiple times. It changed my life. Like, it will forever be in my brain. This book, it got 4 stars because 4 stars to me is like, everybody should read this book no matter what. But it was really good, whether it was instructional, educational, or just like made me like hee hee ha ha kick my feet, okay? 4 stars out of 5, maybe 4.5. Honestly, it had a lot of good notes in it. Staff Sergeant Travis Mills served time for our country in the U.S. Army. He got blown up in combat. He's missing both of his legs and both of his arms, and he's got one arm up until his elbow. So he's got prosthetics in his legs and then prosthetics on one arm. That happened to him, I think, when he said he was like 23 or 24. I can't imagine. Like, literally, that's insane. So this book, basically telling his story, it has a collection of other stories from other people who have gone through things that seem impossible to get through. It's a collection of things that he's learned, of disciplines that he's learned, of things that he thinks are vital to live a good, full life. And it's almost like, I don't want to say autobiography, but it's autobiography slash self-help slash encouragement slash reality check, kind of. It was really good. It was a short book. He's married. He's 37 right now, I'm pretty sure. Got a girl and a boy, kids. His shtick is basically like, never give up, never quit. Like, you can push through, spin anything around. You just have to have the self-discipline for it and the self-talk and not victimize yourself in a way. Literally, he is stronger than I, for real. To be blown up in combat, doing something that you find yourself to be of purpose in, and you just like from one second to the next have like no limbs left, which are, I would say, one of the most important parts of being functional as a human. I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine, especially because it happened to him in his early 20s. And like, my mindset right now as an early 20-year-old is like, I would not have survived that. And he talks about like the hard parts going through it, all the pits he fell into, the hills and the valleys and all that stuff. So it was interesting to see his thought process kind of change throughout the course of the book and how he's explaining what thought process he went through. It was honestly like heartwarming, and he went through a lot of stories from other people that have gone through like hardships. He told this story about this one lady who, when she was like 30, lost her husband in a driving accident or whatever. So then she became a single mom, right? She became a single mom, and that's hard enough as it is, right? That's like nightmare fuel. And then she lost one of her kids like a year or two later, and people literally told her, like, he was like talking about how she had told him the story, and he said that she said somebody came up to her and was like, oh, well, you've already grieved your husband, you know, at least you know how to grieve. Like, I heard that and I was like, I don't even know what I was doing in the moment. I just remember my jaw dropped to hell. I can't imagine somebody saying that to me. I would be in prison. I would be in federal prison if somebody said that to me. That is crazy. Like, I'm honestly tearing up just thinking about that. That's insane. She's stronger than I, bro. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, one of the lines that stuck out to me a lot, he was talking about grief. Not just grief in grieving somebody you love, but grieving a life you used to have, a body you used to have, a lifestyle, a thought process. Like, just grieving things that are in and out of your life or have been permanently removed. He said, you were a victim on the day it happened. Do not become a victim every day thereafter. Don't be a victim every day after the one day. And that, I honestly... I'm laughing because I'm speechless to this day. That snapped me out of a lot of my just like melancholic thought process when it comes to my mom. My mom died 2 years ago, and I talk about it a lot because not that it has become who I am, but it is part of my story, and it has altered who I am to my core. Like, it's in my bone marrow. It was 2 years this past August, and it's a daily thing. I think about it, I remember it. It's just part of what has happened to me, and I don't feel like this soul-crushing, suffocating pain in my everyday thinking about it anymore, but I have moments like that for sure. And it's hard to, in the moment, when you're thinking about things daily, it like comes up randomly, like, oh hey, by the way, this happened, remember? And you're like, oh my god. So it's hard to not let the sadness creep in those moments. So for him to say, you were a victim one time in one moment, don't be a victim for the rest of your days about that one thing. Don't let it control your days and make you a victim day after day. I was like, you are so right. He also talks about goals a lot. He says that if you don't have goals, you're not moving. And I was like, okay, because I have goals, but I don't have like daily little goals, I guess. So he said that in the military, they use this acronym SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and timetable. When it comes to looking at your goals, you should be looking at a specific goal. Why is it not focusing? Okay. When it comes to looking at your goals, you should be looking at a specific goal. You know, what do you want to do? A sense of measuring it. So like, oh, I want to do this, you know, and look this way, or I want to do this and feel this way, or I want to do this to be this way. It needs to be attainable. So it can't be like, oh, I want to make $1 million by the end of the month. Like, babe, let's start small. It needs to be realistic or relevant. So like, why do you want to do this? Is it relevant to who you are? Is it relevant to your life? Is it relevant to your day-to-day? Why do you want to do this? And then a timetable. So give yourself a time frame for completing or not completing that goal, but be realistic with it, obviously. So I thought that was interesting that they use little acronyms like that in the military. Like, we're talking grown men that are fighting for their lives and thus our lives as the general public, and they use little things like, ooh, smart, you know. I thought it was cute, I thought it was funny, and I wrote it down because I was like, true. Also, he talked about controlling your emotions a lot in multiple chapters, which I have been on a journey this year. And by this year, I mean the past 2 months. Not so much like my sadness or whatever, just my anger, because I am Latina. I feel like as a Latin human, I am prone to the dramatics, and I feel big things, and I am a big thing, you know? So everything is heightened. And I don't know if that's because of my genetic makeup, or because I'm a girl, or maybe both, or maybe because I'm a Gemini. I'm a double Gemini Capricorn. I don't know what it is. Something about me is extremely volatile. I see that. I've completed the first step. And here's the thing. When I say that, I don't mean like I'm raging when I'm angry. I just have a short fuse, but all my emotions stay indoors, okay? All my emotions stay up here. Nothing that happens up here or in here emotionally conveys to even the person sitting right next to me. Like, I'm not that type of emotional. I'm the type where it's like silent and it's consuming me from the inside out. But if you look at me, I'm chill. Because like, my emotions should not be somebody else's responsibility, especially because I am a grown 20-something, bro. And I've never been the type to yell. I've never been the type to throw or break or get physical ever, ever, ever. I'm tired of constantly getting extremely agitated over small things. Because the things that make my frustration flare are not big things. Usually it's frustration with myself. People can't really affect my emotions. It's myself, and like, if I'm in a certain situation I put myself in, or if I did something wrong, or if I'm not performing to what I expected of myself, girl, I'm mad. I am angry. So I need to learn how to do that for myself. I really think that that's not only going to benefit me, but my future family, my future kids, whatever. I think it's vital to learn how to control your emotions before you become a parent, okay? Do I need to say it any louder? Anyway, he said this one-liner in the book that says, yelling or getting angry does not help or hurry up a situation. When I read that, I literally sat back for a second and I was like, you're so right. I'm the type to, no matter what, make the best out of a situation, because you're gonna have to sit in the situation anyway, so why not try to enjoy it, at least in the slightest? And I just had never thought to tell my anger to calm down, take a back seat, because we have to do this anyway. Or, it's not that deep, babe. Like, I don't even know what I have to do. Tattoo, it's not that deep on the palm of my hands, so when I'm looking everywhere all the time, it just says it's not that deep. I don't know what else to do. Everything agitates me. Everything. And am I short fused? Am I my father? Am I my father? Because like, what is this? What are we doing? I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed. And when I get pissed, I get annoyed that I'm pissed, and then I'm pissed because I'm mad. So anyway, another thing he said about emotions. Manage your emotions. Don't let your emotions manage you. Which, like, okay, we learned that in kindergarten, blah, blah. Feelings are energy, so redirect it or burn it. Okay. I've never heard to redirect or burn it, and never. Burning in the sense of like, go run your body into the ground, go work out, go Pilates, run, jog, something to burn that energy. I lived through an entire year of burning negative energy like that, and let me tell you, my body was tight as hell. My mind felt more at ease. I know this works. I just had never realized what I was doing in the moment. I needed to go run at least 6 miles a day at the time. If not, somebody was gonna go missing. But I never put two and two together like, oh, I'm burning this energy, this negative energy that's consuming me, I'm using it and burning it here. So I thought that was clever and literally noted. Lots of one-liners in this book, lots of stories that are actually super insightful as to the fact that everybody is struggling through the roof emotionally or with something that they're going through. I think a lot of the time I feel like I'm the only person on earth that struggles with anything ever, and that could not be further from the truth. But it's almost comforting in that way of like, okay, so we're all crazy, like we're all bad. This book felt like a breath of fresh air. It felt like I needed to read it right now. It gave me a lot of encouragement, made me feel compassion for myself, which I struggle to do. I struggle to do that. Okay, I'm a girl and I'm also an eldest daughter. So it did talk about going easy on yourself. He also said that in our generation these days, we always say we want to do better today than yesterday. He mentioned how today's best is not always going to be better than yesterday's best. You should focus on today only. Don't compare yourself. He also talked about death to the ego, which came in the form for him of accepting help. Like, he talked about how his father-in-law was the one that had to wake him up and dress him in the morning for the longest time. And he was like, girl, that was humbling. He didn't say girl, but you know what I'm saying? Father-in-law goes crazy in that scenario because he's a dude. And to accept help from your father-in-law, I can see how that is extremely humbling and kind of a check to the ego. He said that he needed to accept help. Like, at that point, no option. And he said sometimes we should treat it that way, to where we need to learn how to accept help without wanting to die, because you are in this life with other people for a reason, to lean on each other, to help each other, to encourage each other. He does a lot of work with charities, and so he goes around as a motivational speaker pretty much. He talked about how he went to this PT office because after his accident, he had to go to physical therapy for like a long time to learn how to rewire his brain about what his body is like now. After he got his prosthetics and was like a little bit more stable and like just was able to help other people, he went to this PT office and they were working with a veteran who was learning to walk. He was harnessed to these railings on stairs and he couldn't take a step, like he was scared to take a step, and he went behind him and he pushed him and he like obviously caught himself, and he was like, in that moment he just needed a push. He didn't need somebody to tell him, oh, you're gonna do a great job, like don't worry, you'll catch yourself, you're harnessed, all this stuff. It was a mental block. He needed that physical push, and I was like, okay girl. He seems to be pretty emotionally in tune with compassion, but also the realistic side of growth and change, and how it is hard and how sometimes you do need to be shoved and you do need to be told off in an aggressive manner to put yourself first, you know? I appreciated his voice as an author. I appreciated the fact that he was making jokes about his situation. He was laughing about what had happened to him in a lighthearted manner. He was making like corny dad jokes, just like puns and stuff. Like, it was just cute. It was cute to meet this person throughout the literature that they pulled from their spirit and what spoke to them the most in life. I just feel lucky to have been able to read this. I think the only other book that kind of compares to this, but not even, is Make Your Bed. I forget who the author is, but this is the cover. I read this book years ago and it also did change my life. Bounce Back is a little bit more compassionate and just like almost like loving, almost loving. It felt loving. It felt like every story he told from the stories he's heard, he cared about those people and he encouraged those people and he pushed those people. And so it was just like, I love this guy. I love this guy. 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely read it if you're struggling with productivity, self-discipline, or reaching your goals. I think it would be a really good breath of fresh air. In the least, it's encouraging and it's fun and it's kind and you learn a lot of things, and obviously you pick out what you want, but there's a lot of good content in here and a lot of opportunities to be empathetic and feel for other people. So I loved it.